Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to video one of our rigged character animation where we're going to be doing some large movements. We're finally going to get to move our characters. We're going to feel this all this work pay off, which will be very exciting. We do have a little bit of preliminary work before we get started, but we've done all the hard stuff. We've created the assets. Now we're moving on to some more finite, not finite, but finessing of our character. So let's go ahead and do that. So I am going to ask you to do a little bit of reorganization in our files here. So right now we have the arm left, head, torso, left leg, all right leg, all of that jazz all together here. And I want you to go ahead and start. We went ahead and nested our arms. You may have not, but I did. And as I started animating the other day, I think it'll be a little bit easier if I pull these out and kind of just have them on my main timeline, just so that I can see all of this animation in one. We are going to keep things nested in our head, but we are going to pull out a couple of objects there as well. Um, I'm recognizing that there's some issues with some of our layer organization for the types of characters we're making. Just know that you can follow this, like if you want to watch these videos at a later time, if you're creating another character, this organization, but there will always take a little bit of finesse depending on the type of character, type of movement, all of that stuff. So sometimes your layers are in a slightly different order. So let's start by grabbing our arm joint. And I'm just double clicking into my left arm here, and I am going to actually hold down my shift key while grabbing the first one, holding down my shift key, and then I'm going to go ahead and go control copy layers because I want to be able to place it in. So I'm not going to cut them right away. I'm just going to step out into my composition, and then I'm going to go ahead and right click, control click, and say paste layers. And that will paste my arm. And I want that arm to be above my torso. And as I was thinking, we'll talk about that in a minute. So this arm of mine will always be in front of the torso. The sleeve wants to swing in front of the torso. The hand will uh, also, and the arm will also swing in front of the torso. So I want to do that. And now I can just move this out a little bit. So they're matching up with all my things. Remember, you can just kind of hover on the end, or you can press that command key to pull it out. And now, oh, did that put that in the right place? I guess I put it right. Did I put it on top? Ah, no, it's up here. Hold on. Let me grab those real quick. See, almost missed it. It's actually not what we're thinking. It's right behind here. And I'm gonna just line it up. And then I'm going to step into that arm right, arm left. Arm left. There you are. Oops, cancel. Let's see. And I'm just going to lock these. I'm going to just lock everything but arm left so that I know I'm selecting the right thing. And I am just going to delete. Actually, I don't even have to come in here and delete this. I can just delete arm left. And now we have our arm. And actually, boo, 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 let's get those in front of my torso. And I'm just gonna, since I'm out in the main window, I'm just gonna make sure my naming works for me. So I'm gonna add left into this so I don't get lost. Arm left, arm lower, left, and arm upper, arm left, upper. Okay, so everything's in order. I also want to check my order once more. So my hand, if it came up, which I need to switch that hand, what happened? There it is. I need to make sure you're always on that first keyframe when you're moving stuff around. Um, I need to make sure everything is in the right order. So my sleeve will be on top of my upper arm, and they kind of work together. But my lower arm should be above my sleeve and my upper arm, because if you think about it, it's never going to get that far, but it would kind of, if I'm swinging my arms around, yeah, the hand might be able to make it up here with an extreme motion. I doubt we'll get there. But again, the lower arm and then the hand is on top. and that hand will definitely come in front of the body, in front of the pelvis, in front of the legs. So just making sure that order makes sense to you. Think about our characters as 3D objects. Okay, so I pulled that one out. We're gonna do the same thing with the left arm. Gonna find it, or right arm, excuse me. So I'm gonna double click inside that right arm symbol. Oop, it's locked. That's why it's not letting me. Boom. Let me make sure it's unlocked so I can access it. And I'm gonna go ahead and also copy these layers. Copy layers. Boom. And I want this to go, so it's kind of tricky. So right now it's behind my torso, the shoulder and the upper. But this hand will pass in front of my torso. So I might want to split this up so that when my hands come together, maybe I'll do the upper. Yeah, it looks like I might want to pull them also in front of the torso. So let's check that out. So let's just see. Let's go ahead and paste them right here. Paste layers. And I'm just using logic, right? Like all I'm thinking about is like what would make the most sense for my character moving, right, in front of my my form here. Like, will the arms come in front? Am I gonna want my arms to kind of come in front of my body? And yes, I will at some point. Maybe I'm holding my hands or folding my hands together. Okay, so if you need to move it, I'm gonna grab all the things and I'm actually gonna rename them while I'm here, right? Making sure that I can keep track. Right, upper, right, and I've got those two already, right? I'm just gonna grab all my right side, make sure I've got them all selected. So I just clicked and press shift. If you wanna select them because they're kind of mixed, you can go command and individually click each of them, or you can click on the top, hold shift and click down. And now I'm gonna just drag this shoulder over. Okay, and oops, I actually don't like. This is, for me, my character design, what I'm recognizing is it might be a little bit tricky here, because now my arms are both, but it does feel like the sleeve is a little bit wide. So I may do a little bit of adjustment here. So it's always good to kind of like check and go, how does this look? Like I feel like her shoulders could be a little bit wider if they're both in front of this torso here. So I might do a little bit of labor on that. Your character is probably fine. And then I'm going to go into arm right. I'm going to delete that. And now I have my two arms here. Now, if you were more sideways, and you were on a profile, this arm might go behind. But since I'm front forward pretty much, I think I'm gonna put mine in front. That way, if I do go to rotate, right, my arm actually rotates in front of my body besides behind my body. So also thinking about the motion. So right now what we have is our head, our left hand, oops, our left hand, uh, our lower arm, our sleeve, our upper arm, and again, this lower goes in front, sleeve and upper, sleeve and upper, sleeve goes on top of the upper, then the upper goes below the lower, lower goes below the hand. And so the hand would move in front of the body. And these are a little bit interchangeable, but that's the order I like to have them in. So I've got all of my arm stuff here. You can put this in a folder if you'd like, but the reason why we're pulling it out is so we can animate and see everything at once. I've got my torso, and I'm going to do the same thing with the left and right leg. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to grab these. I'm going to go control copy. And I'm going to make sure they're under my torso and pelvis, which, oh, my hip joints down here. I think I actually have my legs in front of my hip joint. My hip joint's covering it in the back. So depending on how you drew it. And I'm going to go paste layers. And definitely want that behind the torso. And I'm going to lock everything except for the upper, lower, and foot. That way I can just select those and they'll be isolated. And then I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift, collect all those. And I think I grabbed the left first, I believe. Yeah. So I'm just going to paste that guy right on top, making sure it's aligned, and then get rid of that left leg. One, and you can see I've got some keyframes in here. I can also select all of these, holding down Shift, and pull them out to the same timeline. So we have all this on the same timeline here. And what's going on here? We're having something weird happen. This is the keyframe of my other foot here. And what I'd like to do on this one, I'm gonna remove this keyframe. Clear keyframe. And if you do have multiple foot, let's see, which I do here. I'm gonna actually put this elsewhere. So I'm actually gonna only have the foot have another symbol within the symbol. So right now I've got my regular foot symbol here, and I'm going to double click inside the left leg foot, and that's where I'm going to create my keyframes here if you haven't done that thus far. And I'm just going to cut frames. Oop, nope, I actually just want to copy the keyframe, and I want to delete your keyframe, and I'll just remove, no, let's see, clear keyframe. There we go. Got it. Pulling that up. So you're just watching me rework some of this. So we're in a good place. And on this one, I'm going to enter, I'm going to paste my keyframe. Paste frames. And move that guy over. And my foot disappeared. That's okay. I just copied this one over. I'll make that keyframe in a minute. So I'll have my different feet inside of here. Clear that. Just let that be. And I'll create my different keyframes in a moment. I'll have to grab some of my other ones as well. Okay, moving back out. Okay, so I've got my left foot. So I'm just gonna go foot. I'll rename these real quick. Left leg, left foot, and leg, left, lower. Just doing a bit of organization. Leg, left, upper. Okay, so I got my foot, my arms, my head, my torso over here. Now I'm gonna grab, and my hip joint or my pelvis. Now I'm gonna grab my right leg, follow the same procedure. And I know I told you guys to nest this in, but I did a bunch of animating the other day, and I'm just finding that, and also clear keyframes for that one. And I'll keep these solid feet, and then I'll put that extra within a foot. Can just redraw it. Okay. So copy, move back, and we are going to paste layers. So this is leg. Just change this order. Right, lower, leg right, upper, and leg right foot. Foot. Oops. Foot. Foot. And I am going to grab those guys. Make sure everything else is locked. Unlock those three. So I can move them. And I'm going to just paste them on top. Okay, so now I'm going to drag that out. There we go, and I can get rid of the right leg. There. So I've got arms, legs, hips, torso, head all in one. We are going to grab a couple things from the head out and pull it outside, and then we'll be done. We'll be able to move on to the next step. Done. Yeah, right. Joking. Okay, so let's jump into the head. And I'm going to leave all my eye shapes, my pupils, my face, my neck, and the back of my hair I'm going to pull out. I know some of you guys have already done that, but this is going to be important. Ding, ding, ding. So I'm going to copy layers, and I'm going to paste these layers, and neck, and the back of the hair. Okay, hair back. Did that paste in place. Let's move everything. Nope, it's a little off. Nope, it's actually pretty right on. If I can't see it, I can take my head opacity down. Yep, not quite. So hair back. It's gonna line you up. Looks like it's quite a bit bigger too. Oops. Moving the wrong layer. That's why we always lock the layer. We're not trying to move here. And I'm gonna lock the neck. Actually, let's do the neck first. It's kind of in my way. So only have the neck unlocked. Do a little sliding over. Get it into place. Looks fairly good. I'll live with that. And lock that. And then I want to unlock the hair back. You might already have this part done. Oops. I'm just going to pull that down till it lines up. And then I'm going to bring my head back to visible. And I'm going to make sure to go into my head and delete those layers that I went ahead and removed. Oops, looking on the wrong thing. Let's unlock the head. There we go. And I want that hair back out of here and the neck out of there. Okay, so let's see, face, hair. The strands are fine because they're going to be in front. You could also move the strands out if you wanted. But all the eye, everything that sits on the face should be in there. Okay, so now we should have head. Oops. Head, neck, hair back, arm, all of the arm parts on both sides, all the leg parts, the torso and the hip joint. That's where we're going to be in terms of layer organization. What's going on here? Looks like I have something going on here, but I will check that out off camera. So go ahead and make sure, like, look at all of that and say, okay, I am in order. I am looking good right now. I have everything Brittany is asking me for on this primary composition layer here. Okay? All right. Yeah, I've got my hands. Remember, even when I click in my hands, I should still have, when I go inside that hand, let me unlock it. I should still have all my keyframe hands in there. Same with the feet. You can still have those, but everything else I want you to bring onto this main timeline. And there's a reason for it. So I know we nested some of them, but this is going to be easier overall. So get that done. Okay, gonna meet you in the next video for the next part.